All right, so you want to ride the blockchain wave and become a developer? Well, buckle up, because today we're taking a deep dive into this world. And spoiler alert, it's way more than just buzzwords. We've got some awesome sources lined up, like a roadmap from Career Vira on what this career actually looks like and some seriously big picture stuff about Web3's future.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing when you really think about it. We're talking about a potential ground-up rethink of how we build trust online and do business.
Exactly. And one of the sources hit the nail on the head with this quote. They said, blockchain is about trust without intermediaries, which is powerful stuff. What does that mean to you, like on a practical level?
Well, think about it. It's like cutting out the middleman everywhere. Instead of needing banks to process payments, governments to back up contracts, or, the big tech companies holding all our data, blockchain says, what if we could do all that directly between users? That's the revolution here.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. So where does this whole Web3 thing fit in? I hear that term everywhere these days.
So Web3 is kind of like the next internet, right? What we use and know Web2, it's all centralized. Big companies have all the power, all the data. They call the shots.
And they make all the money from our data.
Exactly. But Web3, powered by, you guessed it, blockchain, it flips that on its head. It aims to decentralize everything, putting users back in control.
So instead of our data being stuck with these massive corporations, we'd have actual ownership, more say in how it's used.
Exactly. Imagine a social media platform where you own your data, or a marketplace where you're buying and selling directly. No platform taking a cut. It's wild.
Wow. Okay. That's a powerful vision, and if I'm understanding right, blockchain developers, they're the ones building this future.
They're the architects, absolutely, and the demand. Through the roof. Companies big and small are scrambling to find people who can build these decentralized systems.
And with the potential we're talking about, it makes sense.
It's not just about the tech, it's the possibilities it unlocks,
Okay, so we've established blockchain is trust building without the middleman, and Web3 is like decentralizing the internet itself. But what does this mean for someone who's actually thinking, I want to get into blockchain development? Now, that's what I want to know. So we're talking about this huge demand for blockchain developers, and actually, one of the sources, LinkedIn, they called it a top emerging job. That's got to be more than just hype at this point, right?
Oh, it's way past hype. This is a real shift happening. Like, it's not even just those, Silicon Valley startups anymore. We're talking IBM, JP Morgan. Even those huge companies are trying to get in on this. It's disrupting everything.
Yeah, and everyone's scrambling to catch up, it seems. Both sources mention how many certifications are popping up, like from that blockchain council. What's that all about?
That's interesting, right? Shows you it's getting more professionalized, which makes sense. Any new tech goes through that.
Makes sense, yeah. Certifications can be a good foot in the door, I bet. Proof you know your stuff. But let's get down to brass tacks here. Is someone's listening thinking, okay, I want to do this. What skills do they actually need?
Well, you got to walk before you can run, right? Strong programming foundation is key. We saw Solidity mentioned a lot, especially for anything on Ethereum.
Right, Ethereum makes sense.
And then there's Rust, which is a really powerful language, super hot right now because it's fast and secure.
Okay, Solidity Rust. Sounds like I need to update my coding skills, haha. But it's not just the code, is it? One of the sources was talking about cryptography, and I'll be honest, that sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah, that's the security backbone of it all. How do you make sure these transactions are tamper-proof, really secure? That's cryptography.
So less about coding, more like digital security expert level stuff.
Exactly. Got to understand how it all works, those principles, if you want to build something solid, no pun intended.
Okay, so coding languages, cryptography, anything else I'm missing? Both sources mention smart contracts, which honestly still sounds futuristic to me.
The name's catchy, right? But it's actually pretty simple. Imagine automating agreements, like using code. That's a smart contract. So let's say you're buying digital art online. The smart contract could handle the whole thing. Payment, ownership transfer, boom, done. No third party needed.
So it's like a self-executing contract, but written in code.
You got it. And that's just one example. We're talking supply chains, voting systems. The possibilities are huge.
Okay, so we've got the coding, the security, this whole new way to automate agreements. It's a lot. But let's say someone's ready to dive in. Where do they even begin?
Okay.
So we've covered a lot. I mean, we're talking the what, the why, the how of blockchain and Web3, even those must-have skills like Solidity, all that cryptography stuff, smart contracts. It's a lot to take in.
It really is, yeah.
But I'm guessing some people listening are fired up. They're thinking, all right, I'm in, but where do I even start? Luckily, our sources had some pretty solid advice for that.
Oh, for sure. Both of them actually pointed to online courses as a great jumping off point, like Coursera, Udemy, all those. You can get up to speed on a specific language or whatever at your own pace, which is cool.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about this field, right? You don't necessarily need to go back to school, get a whole computer science degree. You can kind of build your skills as you go.
Absolutely. And if you do want something more official, there are universities offering full-blown certifications now. That blockchain council we mentioned, they're huge for that.
Yeah.
Gives you that industry-recognized stamp of approval.
Right, like proof you actually know what you're doing, which employers love to see.
Yeah.
But both sources also said it's not enough just to have the theory right.
Yeah.
You need hands-on experience. That's where the real learning happens.
100%. Got to get your hands dirty, build something, break something. That's how you really learn.
Yeah.
One of them even suggested setting up your own WN little blockchain. There's a tool called Ganache that's good for that.
Oh yeah, Ganache, I remember that. It's like a little sandbox. You can mess around with the code, see how it works without any real-world consequences. Kind of like when I was first learning web development, building those little practice sites. So satisfying to see it actually work.
Exactly. Very similar vibe. And then once you've got some basics down, the open source community is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
GitHub, that's where it's at. Tons of real world projects. You can see how the pros do it, even contribute your own stuff.
So it's like a giant collaborative learning environment for code.
Basically, yeah.
That's awesome.
And all that practical experience you're getting, that all feeds into building a killer portfolio, which is what really matters when you're applying for jobs.
All right, got to have that proof. CareerVira article had some good resume tips too, like using the right keywords to stand out. Because at ISS, a competitive field, you got to show them you're not just another coder, but you get blockchain, you get the big picture.
Exactly. It's that problem-solving mindset. That's what makes someone a true blockchain developer, like a pioneer.
And that kind of brings us back to why this all matters so much, right?
Sure.
It's not just about cool tech. It's about building something better.
Yeah, for real.
Like imagine a world with online voting that's actually secure. Or supply chains where you know exactly where stuff's coming from, no more shady business. Giving people control of their own data, that's the promise of this whole thing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So if you're out there listening and something's clicking, you feel that little spark, dive in, check out those resources, get your hands dirty, start building. This has been an awesome deep dive into the world of blockchain development. Until next time.